Inside Building 2, I continue to sneak past the enemy forces, to varying levels of success, end up in a drainage ditch and get cornered by a bulldozer. Time for our next boss fight. A few explosives later, and it's defeated. I come across a laser field that I expertly navigate. Note, I may not have expertly navigated it, I'm kind of a noob at this. Find a signal boosting antenna and get a call from Big Boss telling me that I need to find said antenna to prevent my codec from getting jammed. After I already found it. Whoops. After another ride in the elevator, I find another POW who tells me that I can find Dr. Madnar in the dungeon, so I find card key 5 and head further down, get a call from Schneider warning me that the other rooms on this floor are filled with poison gas, personally thank Schneider for actually being helpful unlike Big Boss, navigate the gas-filled maze thanks to my handy-dandy gas mask, avoid another roller trap, rescue a POW who tells me how to escape from this floor and gives me my final rank upgrade. Max health, max ammo, I am ready to go. I fumble around until I find a room with Dr. Magnar in it. Finally! But it's an imposter. Fuck. I snag card key 6, find the exit, and encounter our next merc boss, Fire Trooper, who I beat in a couple seconds thanks to the power of guns. I guess that old Sean Connery movie was right all along.
The gun is good.
The gun is good!
The penis is evil.
On the next floor, I find a POW who tells me how to get into Building 3, pilfer a flashlight that I never end up using in this playthrough, find another POW who tells me to call a woman named Jennifer, with the caveat that she'll only talk to high-ranking officers. I call her with my fancy max level rank, and she's impressed enough to leave me an RPG. I check every other room I feasibly can and grab an antidote, find one more POW who tells me I'll need a compass to cross the desert between buildings 2 and 3. I wonder to myself what the hell kind of geography Outer Heaven has if this micronation is somehow coastal, has mountains and deserts spaced in the middle of it, and whether it was naturally like this or if it was man-made, and navigate my way through roller and pit traps before battling a duo of mini-bosses. The legally distinct, the best kind of distinct, Arnold Schwarzenegger stand-ins, Bloody Brad, who I beat in a couple seconds thanks to the RPG that Jennifer gave me. Thanks, Jennifer. Jennifer. Bloody Brad leaves behind card 7, and with all the cards' power combined, I finally find the real Dr. Madnar. Hooray! But he refuses to tell me how to defeat Metal Gear unless I rescue his daughter Ellen, who's all the way back in Building 1. Oh, for fuck's sake! During my trip back to Building 1, I came across what would quickly become the bane of my playthrough of this game. The instant death pits that appear out of nowhere with almost no chance to escape from their spawn points. The latter parts of Metal Gear seem to be chock full of these gotcha traps, where the only way to avoid them is to know where they'll pop up and what their hitboxes are beforehand. Now, I'm sure that someone will correct me on this in the comments, in which case, I genuinely appreciate the info and will keep it in mind for the next time I play this game. But I also have to question how a newcomer is supposed to know about these, especially back in the late 80s with no internet. After way too many deaths, I find Ellen Madnar, grab some body armor and a compass to protect me and guide me through the desert respectively, and return to Dr. Madnar, who tells me how to destroy the Metal Gear by placing C4 on its feet in a specific pattern. Except for the last step, which he conveniently forgot. Oh boy, my favorite. 50-50 guesswork. One trek across the desert later and I arrive at the dreaded Metal Gear hangar building, where Big Boss calls me and starts giving me advice that makes no sense, like, go into this room full of guards. I die repeatedly, grab an oxygen tank, and Big Boss shatters the fourth wall by telling me to turn the game off.
I think you are a sussy baka!
I backtracked to that water-filled passage back in Building 2 and followed the wise words of Ed, bringer of bacon.
Man the house! Dive!
I suddenly get a call from Schneider saying that he knows who the Outer Heaven leader is, but he gets cut off before revealing it. Next up is a boss fight with Dirty Duck, a gunman who uses POWs as a human shield. This is probably the only human boss you don't want to use the SMG on due to its wild firing pattern, as one stray bullet will kill a POW, which not only lowers your rank, but a specific one dying can apparently lock you out of beating the game because it makes one of your support staff stop talking to you at a critical point or something like that. I think demoting you and lowering your max health and ammo is punishment enough. There's no need to double down on it. Once Dirty Duck gets thoroughly roasted, I can grab card 8, free the POWs, learn which ladder to climb up during an escape sequence later on, and finally, after all this time, go after Metal Gear. Now let's just hope that I don't do something monumentally stupid like step into a truck that takes me back to the beginning.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
After all that backtracking, it's time to ride the elevator all the way down to floor B100. A POW I rescue in the bowels of outer heaven tells me that the real leader of this army is none other than Big Boss himself.
Squeak.
I probably would have been more surprised about this if A, I hadn't already played the other games before this, and B, if the legendary soldier didn't already make it abundantly clear that I shouldn't trust him as soon as I got here. But for this early stage of video game storytelling, it's not too bad of a twist. Alright, all that stands between me and nuclear-equipped walking death tank is an electric floor. There's no way to turn it off, so I just have to run for it. And here we are, right in front of the inactive Metal Gear. Just because no one's driving this thing, that doesn't mean it'll be easy. There's still lasers shooting at me. Let's get the pattern down, take a guess on the last charge, and... boom! Metal Gear is toast, and the self-destruct timer's armed and ticking down. Gotta make it out of here, but not without a showdown with Big Boss face to face. I pump him full of missiles until he croaks, equip my smokes to slow down the escape timer somehow, climb up the correct ladder, and boom! Outer Heaven gets leveled with a nuclear strike. Snake calls HQ to report a successful mission. Radio K&K chimes in, reporting that Outer Heaven and Metal Gear were destroyed by an earthquake. That's an obvious cover-up if I've ever seen one. And the credits roll. So with all that behind me, what are my final thoughts on Metal Gear? Well, while there's more than its fair share of cryptic bullshit, gotcha traps, over-reliance on backtracking, repetitive music, easily abused enemy AI, and the constant keycard conga every time you need to unlock a door, I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy looking at the Metal Gear Saga's origins. If you've got a tolerance for 80s-era adventure game jank, plus a walkthrough to refer to if you get stuck, I'd say Metal Gear is worth checking out for those interested in gaming history. If you're not willing to put up with old school, at times frustratingly outdated game mechanics though, I'd suggest skipping this one, as its story is barely there, and it mostly serves as a curiosity rather than essential Metal Gear homework. And here comes the part where I tease the next game I'm gonna review, but first I need to address how long this one video took me to complete. I started recording and scripting what ultimately became part 1 all the way back in January of 2025, chipped away at it off and on until May, and then obviously took more than half a year to get part 2 out. I think I bit off a bit more than I can chew with this kind of review format, so for Metal Gear 2, I'm going to rethink my approach so I don't keep burning myself out on the scripting and editing portions. Thank you so much to everyone who waited patiently for me to finish this video, even if it obviously took way longer than I expected or hoped. I hope you'll continue to stick around for the second installment of this Metal Gear retrospective, as we tackle Hideo Kojima's swan song for the MSX2, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. I've been Arikado. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that jazz, and until next time, unpleasant dreams.